What a day to be the White House press secretary. As you can imagine, Caroline Leavitt fielded a lot of questions on the new developments regarding Trump's relationship with convicted child sex predator Jeffrey Epstein. And no surprise, she was not in any way forthcoming. Now, because of that, I'm going to do things just like a little bit differently today. First, I'm going to play for you some of the absurd answers she gave because they are worth hearing out loud. Then I'm going to give you the truthful answer. Let's start with Weijia Jiang from CBS News.
Did the president ever spend hours at Jeffrey Epstein's house with a victim?
These emails prove absolutely nothing other than the fact that President Trump did nothing wrong. And what President Trump has always said is that he was from Palm Beach, and so was Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein was a member at Mar-a-Lago until President Trump kicked him out because Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile and he was a creep. Okay. That was a lot of words that said very little there from Caroline. So let me just read you the actual text of the email that Weijia was referencing, because the email itself pretty clearly implies Trump was at his house. Here's the email from Jeffrey Epstein to Ghislaine Maxwell. You can see it right there on your screen. I want you to realize that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Then there's the redacted victim's name, which is redacted. Spend hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned. Police chief, etc. I'm 75% there. Now, this is not at all about, my point of reading that is not at all about whether or not they were friends. We already knew they were close friends. It's not about whether or not Epstein was a member of Mar-a-Lago. Those were not the questions. So sidestepping a very clear, pretty direct question that literally quotes is a reference to an email that was released today kind of tells you everything you need to know there. Okay, Mary Bruce from ABC News. What do you got?
In the interest of transparency, why not just go ahead, release the full files on Epstein, get this all over with?
This administration has done more with respect to transparency when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein than any administration ever. In fact, this administration, the Department of Justice, has turned over tens of thousands of documents to the American people.
We have? I mean, the American public is not dumb. The full Epstein files have not come remotely close to fully being released. In fact, what the Justice Department has released is a teeny tiny fraction of all the total files, as in less than 1%, according to Congressman Ro Khanna, who has been leading the effort to release the files. And frankly, Mary, to actually answer your question, I think today's news kind of speaks for itself. It has never been more clear why the Trump administration does not want to release the Epstein files than it is today. Okay, Mary Bruce, it seems you have a follow-up question.
But given your interest in transparency, Caroline, why are White House officials then meeting with Representative Boebert in an effort to try and get her to not sign this petition calling for the release of the files?
Doesn't it show transparency that members of the Trump administration are willing to brief members of Congress whenever they please? Doesn't that show our level of transparency?
No, that does not show your level of so-called transparency at all. I mean, what it shows is that the president, who was MIA or sometimes sleeping in the Oval Office over the course of the government shutdown, has suddenly woken up in order to protect himself. And now he's so focused on a pressure campaign that involves meetings with Republican members of Congress into the Situation Room and meltdowns on Truth Social. That's what he's focused on. This is definitely not transparency at all. It is more kind of like self-preservation. Okay, next up, Zolan Kano-Youngs from the New York Times. Go ahead.
Stephen, go ahead.
Well, if the president is considering a pardon for Ghislaine Maxwell.
Again, he's answered this repeatedly. It's not something he's talking about or even thinking about at this moment in time. I can assure you of that.
At this moment in time is doing a lot of heavy lifting there in Caroline's answer. I mean, remember back in 2017, this is just one example, when White House lawyer Ty Cobb said there is no consideration at the White House of any pardon for Michael Flynn. Very clear there. And then 3 years later, boom, Trump pardoned the guy. Should Trump pardon Maxwell in the future, it would not be the first time a denial preceded the action. So don't lean too much into it. Okay, we have time for just one more. Jared Halpern of Fox Radio, I hear you have a non-Epstein related question. Make it quick.
Is the president intending to invite any Democrats over to have negotiations over these subsidies or any other plan to bring down the cost of health insurance?
That's an easy one. Don't hold your breath.